Hello, my friends, hello, and welcome once again to Stately Von Manor, where Roger and I have returned to talk about a new book from the editor of the magnificent Tales of the Magician's Skull magazine. It's Tales of the Magician's Skull magazine, Sword and Sorcery Awesomeness, and he's also the author of the Ringsworn Trilogy. The Ringsworn Trilogy. He wrote these books, and now he has come out with this great new book. This is The City of Marble and Blood by Howard Andrew Jones. This is the second book in the Henuvar Chronicles. The Henuvar Chronicles, which began in this book, Lord of a Shattered Land, and this is the second book, The City of Marble and Blood. And the Henuvar Chronicles tell the story of the Vallani general Henuvar. So Henuvar lives in a fantasy world that greatly resembles ancient Rome. It's basically a fantasy version of ancient Rome. There are some differences. For example, it's full of monsters. There are a lot of monsters in this world. The Dervan Empire, which is the fantasy version of the Roman Empire, is full of monsters and magic, sorcery, and this is old school sword and sorcery. So the magic tends to be terrifying and dangerous, which is the way magic should be. And Hanovar, the great Vallani general Hanovar. So Volanus is basically the fantasy version of Carthage. So the Dervan Empire and Volanus went to war. Hanovar was a general in that war. But the Dervan Empire was too strong and determined, and they totally destroyed Volanus. And the Vallani people, the ones who survived, were all taken into slavery. And now they are slaves spread across the Dervan Peninsula. Hanovar, who has survived this war, has vowed to free his people. He's vowed to set his people free. But at the beginning of Lord of a Shattered Land, he's all by himself. So it seems like that's a tall order, Hanovar. But Hanovar is determined. He's going to set his people free. And he's a tough guy. He's a tough old general, older man, middle-aged fella. Lots of experience. And unusually for a sword and sorcery character, completely selfless. He's a genuinely heroic character. Everything he does is for his people. And even now, after his homeland has been destroyed, he has vowed to continue to help his people. So that's what he's going to do, and he's very determined. Now, by the time we get to this book, The City of Marble and Blood, Hanovar, with the aid of some companions, has set up a network, an underground network, to help him free his people. And he's actually beginning to be kind of successful at it. It's very dangerous because now he is in the Dervan Empire itself. And there are rumors out there that Hanovar is still alive. Originally, he was thought to be dead, but because of the events of the last book, the emperor of the Dervan Empire and the Dervans, they know that Hanovar is still out there somewhere, and they're searching for him. And so he's in great danger this whole time. Now, these books, the last one and this one, they're both told in an interesting way, in that it's basically a series of connected short stories. Howard Andrew Jones, when he made his original pitch for this series, it was kind of like a television show where you have individual episodes which culminate in a season finale. And that's how the first book was, and that's how this book is. It's a format that actually works because we've got a set of stories which are written in the old Weird Tales style, basically. Like those old stories that you'd find in Weird Tales. They're short stories, basically, that are packed full of plot-driven adventure. but they do all form one story. So they work very well as books. And they're great. They're a lot of fun if you like sword and sorcery. Actually, I think if you're a fan of fantasy, you'll really enjoy these. But if you're like me and you're a fan of old school sword and sorcery, like Conan, of course, and Elric, and Carl Edward Wagner's Kane books, all that great old stuff, you'll really like these, I think. These books are definitely in that tradition, although they do read in other ways fairly modern. There's some modern touches in these as well. But they are very plot-driven adventures, but the characters are great. He has a skill. He doesn't write like Robert E. Howard. His writing style is different. But he has something that Robert E. Howard had in that he's able to do these fast-paced action adventures and still have fully developed characters. He's able to create characters within shorter stories that seem like real people. And Hanivar is a really interesting character. These are a lot of fun. And this one is every bit as good as the first book in the series. The next book in the series, I believe, is coming out in October, which is awesome. Ban Books is really putting these out. You know, there's Howard Andrew Jones is writing furiously, and Ban Books is just publishing them as soon as they come out, which is great. Which is great that we're getting sword and sorcery. My very favorite subgenre is sword and sorcery. That we're actually getting excellent new sword and sorcery from a great writer, Howard Andrew Jones. And this is great fun. The City of Marble and Blood. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend this if you haven't read it. So yeah, I guess that's all I have to say this morning. I will catch you tomorrow. You have a great day.